What I've decided to do today is start a big upgrade series on the Tokai Les Paul Gold Top. Because my plan is to turn this into a Gibson Les Paul standard beater. It's not going to be a couple of hours of soldering, don't worry. We're going to start with the hardware, the tailpiece and the bridge. And then we've got this selection of pickups that I've got. What I'm going to do is ask you guys to help me decide which bits we like, really. Does this aluminium tailpiece sound better than the pot metal Tokai one? Lots of playing, a bit of chatting, no doubt there's going to be swearing, there's no doubt. Go and get a drink and let's get stuck in to part one of the Tokai upgrade series. Today, ladies and gentlemen, it's hardware. Hello everyone, thanks for joining us today. It's good to see you again. I'm chuckling because I'm quite excited. Well, I'm scared, quite frankly. I'm scared of what is ahead of me now, what I've decided to do today. What I've decided to do today is start a big upgrade series on the Tokai Les Paul Gold Top, this one here, that I reviewed not so long ago, and I was quite taken with this guitar. It's a Chinese Tokai, it cost around about 400 quid, and I liked it a lot, liked the neck, liked the weight, liked the look, liked the feel, liked the headstock. But I thought that the electronics needed maybe upgrading. It's got these dime-sized pots, cheap-ish, well, obviously cheap, pickups. So what I said we'd do, I made a promise, didn't I? I said we'll upgrade it. So that's what we're going to start doing today. This is going to be a series. It's not going to all happen today. As you can see, all this stuff spread out in front of me, this is all going to go on this guitar at some point. So we're going to start with the hardware, the tailpiece and the bridge, and we'll change the bushings and the studs and the posts as well. This collection of lovely, posh hardware. And then we'll get on to Monty's 50s wiring loom and the switch and the jack and everything. And again, we'll hear before and after that, so we can see if that actually makes any difference. And then we've got this selection of pickups that I've got spread out in front of me. So these are the BH ones, I think these are. I'm going to try a set of Gibson 490R 498T, see what they sound like. I've got these Seymour Duncans. This is an SH4 and an SH2 set, which are very popular. I've got some custom wound, hand wound vintage style PAFs from Murray Guitar Pickups in South Australia. I've got some Monty's PAFs. It's attacking me. These were the ones that Matt made for Brinsley Swartz after taking readings. That's what I was looking for. Taking readings from the Greeny Moor. There's an interview that I did with Matt Gleeson about these pickups. I'll put the link there now if you want to have a look at that later. Stick around now. Watch that later. I've got a Burst Bucker 1 here, so I'm going to try and find a Burst Bucker 2 in one of my other guitars and borrow that to try in this. And of course, I've got some Alnico Classic Pros here from Epiphone. We're gonna put those into the mix as well. And of course, why not? I'm going to borrow the Pro Buckers from this Epiphone Gold Top as well. So we're going to have a wide range of different pickups, and we'll hear the difference between all of them. So it might be useful even if you're just thinking about, you know, what's the difference between the burst buckers and pro buckers? And what's the difference between pro buckers and hand-wound PAFs, you know? And then throughout this series, because it's going to be a few episodes, look at all the stuff. What I'm going to do is ask you guys to help me decide which bits we like, really, which bits sound better than the other, you know. Does this aluminium tailpiece sound better than the pot metal Tokai one? It might do, it might not. You know, it'd be good to get some feedback from you guys as we progress. In the community section on the channel here, we can have some votes. We can do some polling, can't we? Polling, voting on what we prefer, which pickups we prefer, and ultimately decide what ones we're going to leave in the guitar, I suppose. Yeah, what bits we're going to leave on it. Because my plan is to turn this into a Gibson Les Paul standard beater. So again, through this process, we're going to use the Les Paul standard 50s, this one. This will be the benchmark. So we'll do some sound comparisons with this to start with, as well as the Tokai, so we can hear what they sound like now. Probably hear a difference, won't we? And then as we progress through this series, we'll hopefully see that gap closing to the point where maybe this will start to sound better than this. Some of these pickups are pretty tasty, you know, so who knows? So if you want to help out with that and join in the vote, make sure you're subscribed and click the notifications bell, or you won't know it's happening. Okay, so yeah, hopefully it'll be interesting. What I'll do is a lot of playing as well, so hopefully we'll keep it interesting, you know. It's not going to be a couple of hours of soldering, don't worry. We'll speed it all up. We'll try and make it interesting and vibrant, if you like. Lots of playing, a bit of chatting. No doubt there's going to be swearing. There's no doubt. I mean, you know, all this soldering, just not going to go smoothly, is it? And there's stuff like, you know, bushings. I'm going to try and replace the bushings. That's a bushing. That's what I call it anyway. So no doubt that won't go to plan. And, you know, this could all be a complete failure in the next 20 minutes and I'll start something else. But, well, let's find out, shall we? I hope you stick with it. Obviously, timestamps in the description box, so you can skip forward to something else at any time you fancy it. If you get bored, if you've got some time, you know, go and get a drink and let's get stuck in to part one of the Tokai upgrade series. Today, ladies and gentlemen, it's hardware. So first things first, let's get an unplugged bass sound as we started with the Tokai. The Gibson Les Paul 50s, we're going to use this as the benchmark, okay? So we can compare everything to this. Because it's the benchmark, isn't it? This is the benchmark, isn't it? This is what everyone wants, isn't it? So, unplugged, the Les Paul standard sounds like this. Definitely different. Okay, so here we are plugged in. Today I'm using the Blackstar Studio EL34. As far as the board today, all I've got is the Polytune tuner and a looper that I think I'm going to use. So nothing else on that today, no other pedals, no compression on the board at all, just the amp and various other stages in the signal chain, obviously, through YouTube. That's what you hear, so hopefully we'll get a decent sort of representation of what the pickups sound like plugged in. Right, hopefully I've captured sounds. Hopefully I've captured what it sounds like. It's quite hard to do that, just simple stuff to sort of show off what pickups sound like. Can't believe how difficult that was. Anyway, it's whatever we got is what we've got to work with, okay? And hopefully I'll be able to continue to do that badly as we progress through this series, so that we've got, you know, a sort of a reference, really, because that's the idea, that we can hear the difference. I don't know if it's going to work like that, really. The differences will probably be quite minor anyway, so, you know, manage your expectations, I think, everyone. Right, what I'm going to do first, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the strings and I'm going to top wrap them over the bridge here and see if that makes any difference at all to the sound. Hark. Let's cut the strings off, top wrap it. Lots of strings are going to be ruined in this series. So I might stop locking the strings at the tuners for this series, because it is a pain in the arse getting the strings off again. And Tom Bukovac actually says it's stupid as well. So top wrap is, as you probably know, but I'll just explain it and show you for those that don't know. It's something that some people do, including Joe Bonamassa. I think Billy F. Gibbons does it as well. And they say it gives a slinkier feel, so you just, instead of feeding the string through that way, like you normally would, just go the other way, backwards. And I don't use any other technique at all, I just stick the string through there backwards. I always start on the middle one, or the D, when I'm restringing the guitar, because I figure it's kind of in the middle. So that's all it is to it, really. You just stretch it like that. And obviously that does help with the break angle. You know, creates more clearance there on the back of the bridge, which can sometimes be quite useful if it's touching. Okay, I don't think it was on this one, but so let's carry on. Bear in mind, these are a completely bag fresh set of strings. The strings I just cut off were very new. They'd only been played a little bit. But I suppose we need to allow for this is going to be brighter. But you can hear the slinkiness. I can feel it. I think you can hear it. It sounds looser. Well, as it would be, because it's looser, basically. Just that extra length. Like, so I'll just little quick strum here, unplugged. So comparing that to how it was before, at least you can say a brand new set of strings and a top rat makes that much difference. I'm pretty certain you can feel there's a little bit less tension on the strings. I always top wrap nowadays on Les Pauls, sometimes on SGs, depending on what mood I'm in, I think. There you go. Next step. Right, next step, I'm going to change the bridge. Going to change the standard Tokai bridge for this, which is a Faber Germany. Let me consult my notes. ABR M59 vintage ABR1 Tune-o-matic bridge in nickel, and this one's got plain brass saddles, and they're pre-grooved, which is a relief because I didn't sort of fancy tackling that, to be honest with you. But there you go, that's the bridge I'm going to change it for. Clearly better quality, brass saddles, you know, it's a thing. Let's find out if we can hear any difference. Should be able to salvage the strings actually with this, slip it off. So if I can loosen them, this is the plan. Works. So I've just obviously put a capo on, holding them in place. Right, so that's the bridge that's just, I'll just show you the different weights. There's not much in it. The original is 48 grams and the replacement is 51 grams. Okay. Now, being a Gibson style replacement, the posts are narrower. So these posts here are 6mm at the top, and this has got 4mm holes. You can see that. So we have to put in the conversion posts, which go straight in. So I'll put all the links to all of this stuff in the description box, so you can, if you want to buy it, you can. And I'm trying to get a discount code from them as well, so hopefully by the end of making this film this week, that'll happen. If they can do it, they've said they're going to try. Okay, so replacement conversion post should just go straight in, if I got the thread right. I did assume that the Tokai thread was the same as Epiphone, and it is. So it's a metric thread. So they go straight in. And I have to remind myself to check the action. There you go, I've done a rough intonation fix, as you would have to do if you stick a new bridge on. Listen. Maybe my imagination, but it sounds lovely. It may completely be my imagination, but that sounds very ringy. Let's plug it in and see. Here we go. To me, it sounds a lot softer. Okay, next we're going to change the tailpiece and the bushings and the studs, hopefully. So let's get rid of the strings. So the original tailpiece is quite a heavy 73 grams, and what I can tell you is that on Gibson Les Paul standards and the custom shops ones, they have lightweight aluminium ones. I know that because I've weighed them. And the Gibson tailpiece on the Les Paul standard that we saw earlier weighs 32 grams. And these Faber lightweight aluminium replacements are pretty much the same. It's 32 grams exactly. So this is like the vintage style Gibson ones. So if anything, it's going to make it sound closer to the Gibson. This will help if you believe that that will make any difference, of course. And it does fit straight on, as we established earlier. But what I'm also going to look at now are these studs and the metal bushings that they screw into, on the assumption that these are fairly cheap metal. I bought these Faber replacements, and they're called, hang on, Faber TPST steel 59 studs, Gibson style, and they're nickel and they're metric. And these are metric bushings. These are Faber TPI-B bushing nickel. I don't know what the existing ones are, but we're going to assume that these are better quality. They should be. They cost enough. Okay, these studs cost £19 each. Can you believe? £19 each, and the bushings cost £17 each. Okay. I'll do a reckoner on the screen or something, or in the description box, so you can see how much we're spending on this. But well, anyway, we're going to put these in, assuming that this is more of a vintage correct version, or we're going to try to. Before I do that, I'm just going to see if the studs screw into the existing bushings, which they do, as hoped. Now, what I'm going to try and do now is I'm going to pull these existing bushings out. And I have no idea if these new ones will go straight in the holes. It might be a different size, so we're going to find out together. So I have a little bit of stud to pull the, I'm going to drop that in the hole. So you get a little bit of, I just sawed off a bolt that would fit down that hole. So what the idea is, you stick that in the hole and then you get the stud that was in there and you screw it in. And the theory is, we're going to find out if this works now. This is live, okay? This is live. What happens, oops, gone mad. I've lost it. I forgot to put my screwdriver together. Right, so in theory, what happens now, and I'm using the old stud for this, you screw it down and it lifts the bushing out. Just like that. Look at that. It's just like magic. It's loose. That was easy, wasn't it? There you go. And then don't forget to get your bit of stud out. There you go. So that's the old one. And this is the new one. Yeah, will it fit? It seems to be going in all right. It's quite a tight fit. So that's good. I'm going to need to go and get a rubber mallet or something now to tap that down, I think. Yeah. Bear with. There you go. A very well used rubber mallet. Now, I'm going to just take the pressure off the neck while I do this. I wouldn't do this to an expensive guitar. That's about right. Going a little bit more, I think. Let's just get the other one out first. Okay, well that went better than I had expected. Can lose that now, can't we? Faber bridge, a tailpiece. Go straight on. We're done with the original now. I've got a feeling I might prefer the sound of the original bridge. So I'm going to, actually what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the strings back on with the new tailpiece and the new bridge, full unit, and then we'll swap just the bridge, and then I'll decide which of the bridges I'm going to leave on, for now anyway, and then later on you can help me decide which we're going to keep on. Okay, new strings, tuned up, new tailpiece, and bushings and studs, and the new bridge with brass saddles. Sounds like this. Let's plug it in. Sounds like brass. There you go. And we're back. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to put the original bridge back on so that we can hear what that sounds like with the Faber tailpiece and stuff. And because it's sounding to me like this is giving it a brassy sound. I don't think it's my imagination. I'm going to put this back on and see if we can hear a noticeable difference. Little tip that I've just thought of is to have the bridge a little bit what you think is going to be too high, so you can screw these down, because they're hard to screw up to raise the bridge once there's tension on it, so it needs a bit of faffing around. So that's my theory. I think it's got more zing. Let's plug it in. So as I said earlier, I did also carry on and install the wiring loom and the switch in this. It's in now, but it didn't go smoothly. It didn't want to play. So there's not time to show that in this week's film, but here's a little preview of what happened. Do I look stressed? I'm having a dreadful time on your behalf. So we'll take it out again and we'll ream it out, and then we'll stuff it all back in again. See, one of the labels has come off now. Fortunately, I've still got one. I did promise I'd get my reamer out if I needed it. We now need it. twist that round. You can't twist that switch round. You won't get the poker chip on with this switch. So what I was saying earlier about not using a drill, I've had to use a drill. I did say there'd be swearing, didn't I? So please do join me next week to see what happened. And also we'll start installing some different pickups, do some comparisons, probably do 3 or 4 sets of those pickups next week and see what they sound like. And don't forget, I want you guys, if you're interested, to help me decide which ones we leave in this guitar at the end of this whole series, and whether or not we leave the, the fancy hardware on it or not. You might think it sounds better with the original stuff. So let me know, and don't forget I'm going to be doing some polling in the community section. So if you want to take part in that, please subscribe, click the notifications bell, and you'll know then when that's happening. So cool. Okay, thanks ever so much for joining me this week. I'm now going to go and have a lie down, and I look forward to seeing you again next week for more of this nonsense. See you then, I hope. Cheers. Ta-da.